But I mentioned how important it is to, yeah, remember, allow, yes, live from the point of understanding that miracles do happen. And sometimes we're limiting them by thinking they have to look a certain way.
Correct. Yes.
And you were the perfect example of allowing the miracle to come in the way that it needed to come. And there
As
was a,
soon as I surrendered to it, everything brightened up. Everything in my mind was bright and sparkling. And I knew all these people were around me. I was aware of everything that was going on around me. I could quote anything that was going on around me, but I was separate from it. It wasn't part of what I was learning and experiencing at that time.
can you take us through the space? So we'll lead in with you're in the Acasma Family of Light community. And
Yes,
it's a beautiful community. I'm grateful
it
for
is a beautiful community, an expansive community.
And so we have a chat space for our community on Discord, which is very familiar to many people. It's a platform you can use to connect with others in a really cool way. So we're on that platform with our community, and you're in one of the community spaces, chats, and you're in there all the time, and everybody loves you, and everybody knows you, and you bless everyone with your presence. You are so loving and so unwavering with your dedication to the space that we all would notice in 2 seconds if you weren't there, because that's how, you're there, you're always there. And so I remember you writing in and saying that you felt as if the energy was draining out of you, like you were losing energy or something like that. Do you remember how you were, would you describe it for everyone here?
I had no energy. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd had a bunch of new things happening that were wonderful. And then at 3 o'clock in the morning, I got up and I had to hang on to my windowsill in my bedroom because I couldn't stand up. Like there was no physical energy at all. So I laid back down and waited until I felt some energy gaining back in my body. And I went to the washroom and I had to make my way back to bed. And so I thought, this will be gone by tomorrow. This will be gone. What do I need to know? What is here for me? And I embraced it. But I thought that I had to physically endure. And because that's what I've done my whole life. So I thought I had to physically endure this, and that once I faced what I needed to face, it would go. And come morning, I had still no energy. So I thought, well, I'm not staying in bed. Staying in bed is not something I do. So I brushed my teeth hanging over the side of the sink, made my way down to where a place in the house where I spend most of my day. And I would get up to do something, and sometimes had to lay on the floor because I couldn't make my way back to the chair. And I thought, it'll be gone by tomorrow, it'll be gone by tomorrow, it'll be gone by tomorrow. And so I thought, well, maybe if I just go to bed, go to sleep, whatever is supposed to come to me will come to me, because so much stuff comes to me in sleep state. And then I tried to come upstairs and go up to my bedroom. I own a 3-bedroom split, a 3-level split. And so there's a lot of stairs. And so I tried to get up to the very top, where my bedroom is. And I made it up 2 levels, and I couldn't make it any further. And I had my stuff with me. And so I texted my daughter, because I knew my son-in-law was coming to pick up some stuff here that day. And I asked her if she could come and help me just get into bed. And it was about half an hour later, they were knocking at the door. And that's when I thought, okay, I can surrender to this, because somebody is going to look after this body.
Yeah.
And she tried to get me up the stairs, and I couldn't go even with her helping me. And she said, I know you're going to be upset with me, but I'm phoning an ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew what she was saying. My son-in-law was rubbing my back, sitting on the stairs. And I knew everything that was going on, but I just didn't have the energy even to communicate, to talk.
Mm-hmm.
But I just nodded at her. And then the ambulance came, and these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people were like, it's fire department and EMT, more people in my house at one time than I think that I've ever had. And they were just tending to my physical form. And I was aware of everything that was going on, and so much that's happened since then too, I can't put words to, but it was just amazing. And that's when peace was just, I don't remember ever being in that space before. And you know that I've had some pretty amazing spaces under your teaching. And it was just a beautiful space of awareness. They were tending to my body. They tried to get me to stand as they were testing my abilities. And I tried a couple of times to stand, and I would just collapse. And I tried to stand again, and I just collapsed. And so they just down. So they cocooned me all up. They did a bunch of testing, heart and all that. Cocooned me all up and brought me outside. That was about the only time that all I was aware of was the air on my face. Mm-hmm. When they were bringing me outside to the ambulance. To the whole space. I let my daughter know once I was all hooked up to everything, and they were doing tests and stuff. And I let my daughter know, my son-in-law know, please let Andrea know what's going on and ask them for prayer. And I even let my grocery guy know, because he's a man of prayer. Him and his wife are both pray. And he was coming the next day, and I said, let him know they will pray at his church. But I knew it would be gone by tomorrow. And I could feel everything that everybody else was feeling. And I could feel, it was Preston actually that was panicking the most. Like he was panicking the most. Danielle believed, but she knew that the body had to be looked after. And they sat with me the day, and I was meditating. I didn't sleep the whole time I was there, but I would go into deep meditation, and then I'd open my eyes and I'd look around, and then I'd close my eyes again. And Preston was sitting in front of one of the monitors, and he was watching it. And he had said that at one point, like they had me in the trauma unit, and at one point, the levels all went so low. He said that when they were 2% lower than that, that's when everybody ran in for his grandpa before he passed. And he said, but as soon as I would go in, he said, but when you would go into meditation, everything would balance out on the monitors. The people coming in, there was one beautiful nurse that was Beautiful, 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 beautiful nurse that was trying to let me know that I was being looked after. And she kept saying, and she had another nurse that she was training with her, and she said, this beautiful, fragile lady, we've got to be very careful with her. She's very fragile. And I think she said it about 3 times. And I opened up my eyes and I said, I am not fragile. I am very strong. This is just a moment. Like it was so bright, bright, bright in that space, but I wasn't of space. It's the only way I can say it. Though I was aware of everything. And then they realized that I had that internal bleed. They were surprised. They didn't believe it at first because I had absolutely no pain. There was nothing going on in my body besides the weakness. I knew it was going to be gone the next day. They decided that they had to get blood into, they knew they were going to have to do surgery, laparoscopic, or I'm not a doctor, I don't know all the words. I haven't been to a medical doctor in a long time. So I don't know all the words. But they had to get some blood back into me before they could do the surgery. At first, I had a moment where I thought, nope, not fighting this, flowing, 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 flowing. And every time they would put on another bag, I would bless the bag, blood, and I'd bless the person that donated it. All of you were like sparks. And I'm going to get emotional because it was so beautiful. And I tried to show it to my daughter. Can you see them? There's your sparks. It wasn't orbs or anything like it was sparks of light, columns, but it sparkles all over the room. And I knew it was all of you. And you were like a half circle around me, in front of me. They kept being concerned because I'd be in meditation, and then I had to get this big smile on my face because I knew it was all of you and you were all there. It was incredible. I surrendered to all of it, all the things they wanted to do. I surrendered everything. I surrendered. I had to sign my name to accept blood, and I surrendered. They were getting worried because it wasn't stopping. I just kept losing blood. So they postponed the surgery till the next morning because I was just losing too much. And so they were doing whatever the doctor stuff they do with making sure that I wasn't reacting negatively to so much blood being given. Preston and Danielle left for a while to get some stuff done, and they were coming back. I heard, it seemed like what was maybe 45 minutes, an hour later, I heard, didn't see it, just heard it. My daughter in the hallway out in front of my room, the doctor saying, this is going to make me cry. She just lost too much blood. I knew that he was telling her something that she didn't want to hear. And she just went into panic, and I could feel her spiraling. And I heard a door open and then it closed. They were bringing her into a room to talk to her about what had happened. And I thought that had actually happened. And it wasn't until I got my own, because tears were running from my eyes because I was so sad for her sadness. So sad that I had been a part of putting her in that space of having to deal with that. That's what pulled me for a few minutes out of peace. I was concerned that if anybody came in when the tears were running from my eyes, that they were going to think something else was going on. But it was just me getting on top of my own emotions about that. But that's when I decided, nope, I'm not sliding into this. This is where it stops. And I knew at that time that I was given a choice that I'd asked for back in 2016. At that time, I'd had many years of a neck injury that I just kept working, fixing houses, buy houses and fixing them up and selling them. And I just kept working through this neck injury. And then 2016, we had people up for Christmas. They brought a flu with them, and I caught the terrible flu. So I was, Boxing Day, I was in bed. Then being in bed, I ended up with a trapped nerve in my shoulder. Like the physical stuff that it took for me to just say, that's when I was laying in bed as best I could. And I just said, if this is all I have to offer, please just take me. If it's going to change, because my husband went back to work and he would be away months at a time. My kids had all gone home and I was alone again. And I had to face that aloneness. I just didn't know if I had it in me at that time to fight through that. As I was saying all this, my talk with the universe, if I'm opening, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. But if this is it, just take this body. That's when my life just started speeding up like crazy. I've gone through, since the hospital thing, I've gone through old pictures, clearing out iCloud pictures, and back to 2012, and realizing the journey that I'd been brought on all the way through, and didn't fully understand, like, just going crazy, didn't fully understand where I was leading myself.
Yeah.
So as I came back to Danielle, I realized once Danielle and Preston came that did not happen. That was just, and I seen it, it was a band of time.
Oh, wow.
It was a choice.
Wow.
I was being given that choice from them. Is this what you want? And I didn't want that. And so that choice, things just changed. Everything sped up after that. In between, as they were putting the blood in, I would gain energy. And I'd say, I want to try and walk to the bathroom. Somebody would come with me, but I was able to walk, but I needed a lot of help. And then it would go again. It's going to be gone by tomorrow. It's going to be gone by tomorrow. Just let them look after this body. When the kids left that night, I said, please just go. I want to roll over onto my side because I can't sleep this way, because I just keep going into meditation and everything brightens up. And so I just got to roll over to my side. And so I rolled over to my son-in-law. Just anytime a blanket would move, he'd come over and he'd pull the blanket up. He came and he helped me roll over. Meanwhile, half an hour before that, I'd walked to the bathroom. I rolled over on my side and same thing, bright, 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 bright energy. And so I just flowed with that all through the night. When they'd come in and they'd check, and the doctors would come in and they'd give me, do you smoke? Do you drink? Do you do all these things? Nope, 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 nope. I said, the only thing I could say is the anniversary of my spouse passing is coming up, but I'm aware of it. But like I said, I'm a go with the flow kind of person, because they thought maybe I was anxious. Like they couldn't figure it out. But I knew at that time what it was. It was my choice. By time the next day, they're pushing the fourth bag of blood in. As I was going to surgery, there was a moment where I thought, I should be saying that I'm nervous here. I'm going for surgery. I should be telling people I'm nervous. But I wasn't.
Wow.
I just closed my eyes and then opened my eyes. There was nothing. At one point, I thought I remembered, I told my daughter, it was like my mouth was full of spaghetti or something. And she said, you shouldn't remember that. And well, it didn't feel uncomfortable. It's just, it was an awareness that I had. As soon as I got back to the room, I said, can I go to the washroom? They said yes. And I said, I can do it myself. And I went to the washroom and I washed my face and I washed my hands, and I felt I felt really good. And I went back to the bed, and when the first doctor came, I said, am I going to be able to go home today?
Oh my gosh.
And he said, well, we've got to make sure that everything's okay first. He said, but we found the spot, but it was no longer bleeding. And this hospital, though I've never heard of this before, they give you photographs of everything that they've done. I have the photograph of where the spot was. It had the bleed and it was perfectly healed. It was just a white spot. Like my energy it was amazing. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing thing.
Your awareness through the whole space it's just so beautiful, and it's such an inspiring, encouraging, empowering understanding that people can hold that space, that we're designed with the ability,
Mhm.
there's no judgment on anyone who has had a similar experience or fears that space of being in that type of experience. That's normal. That's okay. If it isn't exactly like Trudy's experience is coming out of an alignment of her, uh, yeah, her belief structure. And this is something, and again, I'm going to put the ball back in your court for you to say what you really feel. I'm coming from my point of view of you, but I know you to a certain degree, and I know that you have been very dedicated to embracing this space of yourself where this awareness resides. You've
Mhm.
been dedicated in nurturing that space of yourself, allowing it to expand. Yeah, being open to trust yourself, which means anyone who holds that space with themselves, when you navigate anything, there's that awareness, there's that peace, and there's that space. Almost really, it's like a space between you and what's happening, in a sense. Like, even though it's
Mhm.
happening to you, there's a buffer or a space where you're able to navigate it from that space of your divinity instead of inside what's happening, like wrapped up in what's happening.
Right.
Are those words?
That is.
Okay.
One of the things that became clear to me was that space that I was in is for everybody as they leave their body, if they choose.
Yes.
And that space that I was in is for everybody in their form,
Mhm.
if they choose.
Yes. I love that. I love that. I was just having a conversation with my daughter this morning, and we were talking about how a lot of people fear death, or they fear
Never.
the unknown space of that. But when we are open to the remembrance of our being, our essence, which is the work we do, the community we have that Trudy's mentioned she's a part of, the Acasma family of light, we focus on our wholeness being the way in which, in the space in which we experience everything. So when you were having this space, you are the human body vessel Trudy, who has a daughter and a son-in-law and all these other spaces of human experience in life. But you were also very much aware and coming from your eternal divine self through the vessel of Trudy having the space. It wasn't like Trudy was all on her own having the space. That's like something really big that we talk about a lot in this,
Right.
is we talk about how a lot of, because you're right, every single person, every single human has the ability to experience any experience, including medical emergencies, with the sense of awareness and peace. You have that availability. but it's almost like something we train ourselves in returning to, because it's your essence, it's my essence, it's our essence, it's everyone's availability and essence. But the training's been in the fear. The training has been done years and years and years, lifetimes maybe, in being afraid of what could go wrong, and separation and loss and so forth. But I was talking to my daughter about people that live in the understanding of faith, of understanding their divine eternal soul, having a now in a life. They look at death and they look at everything very differently. The vantage point they're coming from, yes, they're feeling from, yes, is one that, yeah, holds a deep alignment with, we say peace, but it's even more than peace. We use the word peace to describe it, but it's more than that. It's like being at peace, feeling safe, feeling loved, feeling at home, feeling surrounded by that. Like,
this is the perfect space for now, and everything that happens from this moment will be perfect and as it should be.
beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful. And that's available to everyone. That's available to everyone. You know, Trudy, we don't even know for sure who's watching this, when they're watching it, right? But there's a lot of people on the planet right now, yes, in the world right now, and they may be in spaces of fear.
Mhm.
They may be in spaces of separation. This may sound really appealing to them. But they're not sure how to get back to that point of connection that you're talking about, that I'm talking about, that we're talking about. So if anybody's listening right now, watching right now, and you're hearing Trudy's story, and you're not sure how you could hold that kind of awareness in that kind of space, how you could feel that kind of peace, I'm just going to ask if we could just do this real quickly, because I really feel like we need to. I'm feeling a massive wave of emotion right now, of loves, and also of some sadness releasing for people. If we could just let everybody just take a deep breath for just a minute. Just take a deep breath. Just breathe in nice and slow, nice and deep. Yes, thank you for that. Now, you're already home, Holy One. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever's going on, it doesn't have to be medical emergency related. It can be anything you're dealing with in your life right now. You can have that surety. You can have that peace. You can have that sense of being surrounded by love, that it's all unfolding in the most optimal manner, and that you can trust, you can trust, you can trust, you can let go of the fear. And you can trust. Yes, right now. Yes, right now. Just allow your breath. Yes, and just allow that return of you. It's your essence. It's your essence. It's already there. It's not something you have to go looking for. You don't have to ask anybody to give it to you. It's who you are. It's who you are. Yes, just allow your breath, please. Just allow the space. Yes. Yes. Just allow. That's a really big release. Do you feel it? That's a really big release. Just let it go. Just let your breath flow. Yes. As you be this space and you allow this shift, the movement of you, that's what you're doing right now. You're allowing peace that passes all understanding to fill, yes, your heart, your mind, yes, and your being. Yes, just allow your breath. Yes, Holy One, you are loved. Yes, you are heard. You are seen. You are valued beyond measure. You are powerful being of light. Yes, in a human form. Allow your breath. Trudy, if your languages want to come forth, please feel free to speak them now. Yes.
Ana koa na kuya takia ta noa tai. O ia noa kia ta toa. Haya kuala toa ti. Hian uya kia tu. Hian kuya tia tu. Hian kuya tia tu. Aya ya ko. Haya ko. Haya ko.
Yes, thank you, Holy One. Thank you. Yaneya kaokoa. Yaneya kaokoa. Yasaotoa ye yanatea. Yanatea taoa ye yanatea taoa ye yapaokoa ye yananawa. Allow your breath, please. Yes, just allow your breath. Yes. You're resetting your system right now, Holy One, your body, your being on all levels. Just allow the space, the remembrance of you, the reconnection of the I am within the form. Yes, we're blessing this space with you, Holy Ones. We're blessing this space with you. We stand beside you. You are surrounded by love. You are whole. You are whole, Divine One. Yes. Yes. Yes, really big energy moving in the heart and in the throat. Just breathe, please. Just allow the space. Yes. Just allow the space. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Holy Ones. If you had your eyes closed, you can open them slowly, gently, when you're ready. Just allow yourselves to be open. Those hearing this, those seeing this, those connecting in whatever way you are, be open to this continually, yes, unfolding. This expansion of you continuing to be allowed by you, embraced by you, welcomed by you. It's the rise of your divine, yes, flows within your form. And be open, Holy Ones. Be open and be curious of the signs and the wonders, for they are there. And the more you will hold the thought that they are there, you will see them, you will hear them, you will register them in all different ways. The messages you're sending yourself, that Spirit is sending you, the Divine is sending you. And Trudy, this space we share with the Cosmic Quantum Energy, I'm so grateful for you in our community. I'm so grateful for you in our family of light. And I'm so grateful that in the midst of everything that you were processing and dealing with, and you had a lot of peace the whole time, I get that, but you still remembered us, you know? We're so grateful that you told Preston to reach out and let us know what was going on. And it allowed us to hold that alignment with you of peace and of healing and blessing. And we did, and everybody flooded into the chat to support and to stand with you. And so we're very, very grateful. We're so grateful that you let us in, because we have a community, yes, right? But you know, we don't pry, right? Everybody has their lives and their family and everything like that. But if we are asked to come in, we will come in. And Preston said, the door's open, please pray for Trudy, be here for Trudy. And we were there. So thank you for allowing us to be
And I
that.
walked out of the hospital the next day.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I mean, it's so huge on so many levels. And I know there's spaces of this we don't even understand yet.
Yes.
But there are bigger spaces here of the why and the hows and all of that. I really did feel right away when it was happening in the middle, you know, right after Preston reached out. I really did feel like you were going to be okay. And I did feel like you were almost, and I hope this is said the right way, so please know I'm saying it with love, the best way I can with the words we use in the human language. But I felt like you had come to be this space to show us the power of the divine. Like, like I wasn't sure what had happened yet or why it was happening, but then it was this sense of what you're gonna, like, this is what I was hearing in my being. Andrea, what you're gonna witness through her experience, what she's gonna be able to tell people through her story is something they need to know. And like you came in one way in a space of all of the other big ways you're here to be all these other spaces of you as well. This one was very important. Yes, to show humanity this space that is available, that we are. Does that make sense to you?
It does. So many things, even since I've been home, because the space lasted for the rest of that day after I was home, that bright space. So many things after that have opened up, like conversations in the middle of the night that I'm having with that I just know I can go back to sleep if I want to, because this is resolution here going on. Things that have come to me about energy and spaces where I've held in music, in toning, where I am one of the bands of sound,
Yes.
and and ADHD. Like it was just a sentence that came to me half asleep, that the crown opening will help release
Yes.
that energy.
Beautiful. Yes.
I'm not a doctor,
Yes.
but that came to me.
Yes. I love how you saw the space of your daughter being told you had lost too much blood. And then I love how you registered that was that would have been, I mean, I'm using my own words here, so you correct me if I'm wrong. That would have been a possible timeline, but it was no longer going to be one. And
Right,
yeah, that is just really powerful. I also feel like you were moving the energy and dialing in the timeline where you stayed and your daughter didn't experience that. I felt like you were doing that, yeah, with your vibration, you know, being in that state of awareness, being in that state of peace as you were experiencing everything. I don't think you would have moved the timeline. Like you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, I don't know that the opportunity of you experiencing, okay, that's a line I don't want. I'm going to do this. I'm going to shift to this line.
right,
If you weren't in that state of peace and in that state of awareness with your sovereignty, had you been in more fear, I think that might have been what played out. But you know what?
right. It that happening with Danielle was my choice. Here's your choice. This
Okay,
is the
that's what I
choice you asked for back in 2016.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And what a selfless choice to make. That was really powerful on your part. Because if I understand you correctly as well, it was really, you felt so much peace. You didn't have to choose to stay. I mean, it was pretty beautiful. The space of your being was in you know what I mean? Like you chose for her. Like you were ready to align that new timeline where you stay because you weren't done yet, but also your daughter, I don't, I don't think you wanted her to have to
I
navigate.
could register her pain,
Yeah,
what she would feel. And
yeah,
that's what brought me like,
yeah. Which is still really selfless on your part, because I mean, I've worked with a lot of clients all over the world that have had near-death experiences, which is basically what you had. I mean, it can be a little different than some people's where they're actually presumed dead and then they're brought back. But I think you were kind of knocking on the door, like, you know what I mean? Like you were on
just
the,
flowing on in.
and there's this commonality among all these people that share of feeling so much peace and feeling like a sense of like love and beauty that is really beyond anything we could explain on earth. And that it's not always easy to decide to stay in the human experience, like when they're in that space where they're feeling that peace, but you registered your daughter's pain and you chose a line that would keep her from having to have that space.
Mhm.
I find
Yes.
that as a mother, especially, and a daughter, I find that extremely, yeah, incredible. And I mean, I'm doing my best not to cry. It's just, it's really, really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's an immense amount of love for your child. So I'm so grateful you love her that much. And I'm grateful that you were able to observe that space and make that choice to um, redirect the energy to another timeline or another reality that was going to be you here with us today. So I'm so grateful.
I am grateful to all of you as well.
So grateful. I'm so
I
grateful.
resonate with your laughter lately, I tell you
Oh,
for sure.
oh, I'm so happy. Thank you for that. Yeah, that is a new thing and it's just it feels great. I mean, I love laughing. And what's really funny is I am not a naturally laughy person like my husband is. My husband loves to laugh. He laughs at everything. He finds all jokes funny and like humor and everything. And I don't like it. I have to have somebody explain jokes to me. Half the time I don't get them. I just don't laugh easily. So that makes it even funnier for me that I have this laughter. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
yeah. So it's really beautiful. I'm very
I
grateful.
laugh alone in the house, so that might look a little odd to people, but there's plenty of things that make me laugh.
That's all. I love it. I love it. It's good for the soul. It's good for
It
the
is,
body. It's good
it
for the
is.
being. It's
I
beautiful.
like that you've seen the buffer between.
Yeah,
And
it was absolutely an understanding of a space, an absolute space where your being was registering and reading everything from your divinity through the eyes of Trudy, which is
yeah,
so, it's so powerful because we teach that, right? That's what a core of Acasma is all about. The being the new human is all about, is this understanding of living from your wholeness. That's wholeness. The space of you that you are
beautiful.
is that you are describing, yes, to us. That's what I'm trying to teach people. Like they'll say, I don't understand what she's saying. Like I can't wrap my head around that. What does she mean? Um, come from my wholeness, navigate it from my wholeness, experience it from my wholeness. Well, what you just described to us was the exact example of what I'm talking about. You were your wholeness. You were your now truly human being, mother of your daughter, and so forth. And you were this eternal, eons and eons old sovereignty having that space.
It was a beautiful space.
Mm.
I love that space.
I am so grateful that you agreed to share because this is such a powerful message on so many levels. And I know many, many, many will be blessed by hearing your story and understanding how vast we are. Your story gives a like science has, you know, proof, right? You do a science experiment and you can have all of the proof, right, of what you're proving. And, you know, I don't think we should have to prove faith-based spaces because that's what makes faith so amazing and powerful is that we believe because we believe, right? But when you get a story, when you get a space of experience that comes along that backs up what you believe, that backs up what you teach or what you share, um, I don't know. I just think it's really powerful and it's such a gift to those who may need a little bit more information to trust themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's really powerful. I'm so grateful, Trudy. Thank you for being this space. Thank you for being this space.
I'm so grateful for you too. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude. It's just a beautiful, beautiful space.
Oh my goodness, you are never
So much
rude.
joy.
Oh my God, you're not rude at all. I am, I am just, I feel like I'm getting the biggest hug right now. That's what it feels like. Just being in your presence, I can feel love surrounding me and like hugging me. So thank you. Your energy is, yes, incredibly beautiful. So thank you. And I laugh all the time now. So yeah, the laughter is good. The laughter is good. The laughter is good. All right. So anybody who heard this story and you're like, well, this sounds like a really cool community, or I'd like to learn more about the teachings you guys are talking about, or the spaces you guys are sharing and experiencing, you can go to my website, sacredexpansion.com, and there's a link below the video for it as well. And you can check us out. So we're the Akasha family of light, and we are higher dimensional beings of light here to assist humanity. We inhabit human formats. We're remembering who we are. We're reconnecting into these spaces of ourselves. We're trusting ourselves and we're allowing our flow. And this is what that looks like. This beautiful woman here, this is what that looks like. So thank you, Trudy, for being this incredible, shining example of the divine in form. We love you, Holy One.
Love you too, dear heart.
Mwah.